Hello, everybody. I'm your host, Eric Bird, here at StopStrugglingNow.com. And tonight, it is 1 year, 6 months until you need to get your assets, ladies and gentlemen. That's your credit. I'll tell you right now, 775 plus credit score. And that's passive income from assets that you are buying. Oh, yes, there's some more. And welcome to the SSN Nation Money Making Monday live stream. Stop struggling now, gear. Check. And please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. Now, let's get to it. All right. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for being here once again. Please share the videos because you never know who's out here looking for information or don't even know they need this information. Basically, you guys see what's happening in the government of the United States, in the Congress, House of Representatives, and Senate. They are actually trying to slash social services. Not everybody. It's running across party lines. People getting willing, they're very willing to get rid of health care for you. That's not all. They're trying to change a whole bunch of things, and all of it is not good for you, the OC. You're going to have to be proactive. I know a lot of you out there watching this, you said, I'm going to school. That there was nothing wrong with going to school. The school of hard knocks comes in many, many different forms and shapes. The thing, though, is most people decide to be employees versus business owners or the people that go create businesses. Going to create a business with no safety net, no parachute, that takes very few people. Otherwise, everybody would own a business if it was easy. Because if you lose, you are going down with you, your family, and loved ones, potentially as well, if it's not successful. So therefore, opting in, getting a paycheck every week, every month, every 2 weeks is fine. But see, that's all coming to an end, ladies and gentlemen. The American dream is the American nightmare. Let me give you some numbers right now, just one number to start off this live stream tonight. What about if you take away the top 10% of the wealthiest, and we then ask ourselves, what is the average wage of Americans? I'm pretty sure some of you are going to say the average wage of Americans after you take away just the top 10%. So, let me reverse it. What do you think the bottom 90% average wage is? Ding, 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 ding. Okay, time's up. The average wage, $66,000. Did you hear me correctly? Did I just say $66,000? I don't know about you, but if you live in most metropolitan areas, that's like 5,500 to 5,000 a month. So how are you going to be able to afford that one bedroom apartment for 18, 19, $2,000 a month? You know you're supposed to make three times the number. That'd be 6 grand. That would also be $72,000 per year if you made 6 grand. So the fact that you're at 66,000, somebody's going to have to start explaining how you're going to buy a $400,000 and $500,000 home. That's a liability, so don't worry about it. But you're going to have to make double that amount of 66,000. So now you're understanding two-person household would have to qualify, each with an average income of 166,000, which is 132,000. Now does it all start to make sense? Why Americans are broke? Why 80% of the population is living paycheck to paycheck during the course of a month? All those that have passive income coming in, those who buy assets that pay you, because you're getting paid in today's money, the inflation money. You're not getting paid from 10 years ago money. Things cost more, way more than they did 10 years ago, way more than they did 5 years ago, way more than they did 2 or 3 years ago. So, once again, ladies and gentlemen, 1 year, 6 months, and after tomorrow, which is going to be July 1st, 1 year, 5 months. So, let's get down to business, shall we? First things first, how did the stock market do today? You know what? The top 10% of the guys that own the stock market, it's actually fake. So, what do you need to do? You're going to have some stocks. You're going to have to either buy into a VOO, a Vanguard Group, a VGT, or ETFs. So, you don't have to trade actual stocks. You just put your money in and accept the roughly 9 to 13% annual return. It's going to be somewhere like that over this year and next year, probably. Sometimes it only gets 5% because you can't have 9, 10, 11 all the time. Here we go. Stock futures are flat, but guess what happened today? The S&P 500 notches new record to cap winning second quarter. The second quarter is April, May, June. June 30th is today. This is the second quarter. The third quarter starts tomorrow, July 1st. August, September, that's the third quarter. And the fourth quarter is October, November, and December. So the third quarter is this when the Federal Reserve cuts their federal funds rate. I don't know. I am thinking a month from now, I'm thinking they cut rates. We're going to find out here shortly because after this market manipulation to raise the stock market S&P 500 to all-time record highs in despite of turmoil, despite of spending that's out of control for mass deportations and all of that, detention centers, which is pretty wild, and everything else, tariff wars, you need to worry, ladies and gentlemen. So, July 1st is tomorrow. If you're not already doing it, make sure you start the journey. Get your credit cleaned up. That's the first thing you need. You need a 775 credit score. You'll thank me later. 1 year, 5 months is what you're going to have in the next 6 hours, depending on where you are. It's going to be midnight. So you're going to have 1 year and 5 months to get your act together, reduce your debt. I'm sounding like Dave Ramsey. Can't believe it. But in this case, you have to sound like Dave Ramsey. But I'm just saying you got to get rid of your expenses part of Dave Ramsey. I'm not going to go with this spend $400,000 cash to go buy a liability. I'm not down with that. All right. Um, the reason I say that, just in case you're new here, is because $400,000, 10% annually means you have a $3,500 check coming in every month. So why, put it in something that you have to maintain when you could put it into something you don't have to maintain and get 10%, such as a dividend fund? Just saying. Um, so it's kind of along those lines. I mean, why would you do that? And then you could also turn it into where you're using that money to pay for where you live. And then some people would say, well, why do you rent? Well, because you get money to rent that you don't have to work for. And you don't have to do the upkeep either. And you don't have to pay the taxes either. So all of it starts adding up, right? Um, you don't have to pay the insurance either. See, all this starts adding up. especially when insurance companies don't want to pay when you need to file a claim. They adjust it so they don't give you enough to fix it 90% of the time. By the way, I have a stat for another one. God, I can't remember. Uh, oh, uh, for instance, my aunt has long-term health care in case something happens to her when she got older. Then, instead of having a hospital, she has long-term care insurance, right? And can you believe 75% of people who have long-term health insurance, the claims are denied? Yes, you've been paying for the last 20 years, but now that you need to use it to have people come in and take care of somebody that needs long-term care, they're going 75% of the time denied. So you expect me to let you guys know that you think insurance is not a scam? Well, insurance used to be more regulated. There used to be insurance commissioners that would hold the insurance companies accountable, but they came up with their new twist where they would just say, you know what, we'll just file bankruptcy or we'll leave the state, which is in the case of a lot of states. Mostly Florida had took a severe hit of insurance companies available because they know every year there's going to be a catastrophe. So that's billions of dollars. That's not a sustainable business model when you have to give up billions of dollars every year just in one state. All right. I'll get into it now tonight. Let me know if you guys are here. I want to see who's in the chat room. Brian P. Mr. Dividend is here. He's been doing the salsa dance all day. He got the bing, 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 bing notification from dividends. I got him too. Everybody else who's in the ETF markets that give dividends from Yield Max ETF, Defiance Groups, and if you even had some stocks like, I don't know, ORC, that's over 20% return, Orchard Island Capital. It's a real estate investment trust where they said do not get those. Well, it's hard to pass up when somebody says 20% dividends. That's over 1.5% a month because that's 18%. So when it's around 20% and the stock price, if you can buy it at in this range and the price stays in that range, then you can realize if it's not 20%, maybe you realize 15%. And if the stock price dropped in 10%, so be it. But the fact of the matter is, you still have dividends coming in, reinvesting into more dividends. So when it does rise back, once Jerome Powell cuts the federal funds rate, then we'll be back in business, and you'll be getting your 20% on the money you invested now, not later. All right. Let's see, Brian P. Mr. Dividend. He's happy. He says, happy day, Eric. I know it's happy day for you. This man has thousands of shares of dividend stocks. So when a dividend stock says, well, it's 73 cents per share or $1.40 per share, and you have 1,000 shares, that's $750 in one case or 1,400 in another case. All of a sudden, it doesn't seem too bad if you had to spend like 20 G's and you get almost 1,000 or two or three or $4,000 per month if you have to spend 40 G's, right? So how many people, a show of hands that I can never see, if you spent $40,000 and you can get 1,500 per month, would you be happy? I mean, that's not bad. What if it was 2,500 a month? See, that's the key. That's the kicker right there. It could be 25 to 3 grand a month. Would you do that? See, that's where the thing comes in. High risk, great rewards. Are you going to take it? But again, 1 year, 6 months, ladies and gentlemen. I'll go on. I hope all is well with you. Yes, it is. Happy day, SSN family. Smash that like button. Thank you so much because it's free, ladies and gentlemen. Now that he's mentioned it, make sure you smash that like button and check out your emails. See, I know, you know what? I got to get in the habit of logging into my emails because they make me jump through hoops. So I have to do it while we're online. Yeah. By the way, whenever you send me these emails, man, oh man, it's just disheartening to see what people do to other individuals with money. It's incredible. EV Place, another investor's in the house, another businessman is here. Welcome to the SSN Nation Money Making Monday live stream. And he says, good evening, everyone. Good evening to you. Happy Monday. Buying time. TSLY is coming down to $8. Catch it if you can. Exactly. It's been dropping and dropping. I've been waiting for it to get to my dollar cost average number. And since you said it's down to 8, it's at my dollar cost average number that I need to reconsider. I'm a little over 8. So if it got under like 820, 820, 815, somewhere in there, I think it is. If it's 8, he's right. It's buying time, ladies and gentlemen. And GeoMax ETF is who he's talking about because they're going to do a lot of buying for their option income trading, the premiums, the fees, and all that. It's going to come. There's going to be a lot. Now, I find it of pleasant surprise. I mean, I'm gonna have to call it like it is. We got to talk about some things because this effect that Elon Musk has done, uh, he helped create the chaos with this Doge nonsense, and he donated allegedly $250 million to a campaign, to a president's campaign. This is insane, and it ends up being hundreds of millions of dollars more than that because he was running around the world backing the right wing party. Right wing usually tries to be dictators, authoritarians. He was running around the world backing authoritarian type candidates. So people really don't like him as much as they used to because they thought he was a green guy, a man of the people for everybody. They weren't thinking he was trying to be like, this apartheid guy that I call him. I call him Mr. Apartheid because I already knew what he looks like to me. He looks like apartheid guy, right? So he was out there proving he was Mr. Apartheid. Now all of a sudden, this bill comes up that cuts Medicaid, Medicare, and you guys who get older and who may not even be older but need Medicaid, cutting that 16.7 million people would have been off. All of a sudden he's saying, oh, instead of backing, he's saying, no, this is no good. This is garbage. You're going to hurt people. I'm like, what were you doing at Doge when you cut US aid? You were hurting people all over the world and didn't think nothing of it. Now all of a sudden you're acting like you want to play hero. I don't get it. I'm confused right now. But I'm happy that he finally called out this side of the fence that wants to cut people off from healthcare. Instead of having health care for all, they cut that. Instead of trying to get Medicaid and Medicare, they're trying to cut that so they can give tax cut to the rich, which is a problem. So the hero, pseudo hero, I don't even know what he is, has tried to come back. But I want to say something because everybody, this is the sickening thing. Are you going to do, when you're doing your journey, 1 year, 6 months, you're going to try to do the right thing, right? But are you going to do the right thing at the expense of others? That's the key. A rising tide lifts all boats, not just because you get saved. So the reason he backed that candidate was the other candidate that ran for president wasn't going to do one thing. He had an SEC, a couple of SEC violations that he had to go to court. DOJ was against him. For starters, he had like 4 DOJ and SEC court cases. And so since he backed this one guy, corruption is what I'm talking about, they dropped him. That's the reason he backed the one guy, because the other guys weren't going to drop them. Especially when he started acting like he was Mr. Right Wing, Mr. Apartheid. So he got in with the guys, got the Doge, got the information. You guys know he was at Social Security Administration. He was doing other stuff, so he's got information, and he got his court cases dropped from the government. SEC violations, pretty serious, and other financial crimes got dropped. That's why. Now, when you have put that in perspective and he now comes back and acts like he cares about the people, it's because he can now act normal because DOJ cases are dropped. Pretty simple. So, again, ladies and gentlemen, 1 year, 6 months, you cannot escape. Like I said, you take away the top 10% of the wealthiest, the average wage in America is like in the 60,000s. You can't even live on 60,000 hardly anymore if you have to buy, well, most people bought a home. You can't go in there with say my salary is 70 grand and think you're going to buy the average home of $423,000. You're not going to qualify. I'm sorry to tell you, at 6% even. That'd be $2,400, and that does $2,400 a month just in your interest payment amount. So in order to pay some of that principal, your payment would have to be near 3 grand at least. So you're out of luck. You can buy a $200,000 house, 225, something like that. Small little 1,400, 1,200, 1,500 square foot house, maybe somewhere in Midwest, somewhere. I don't know. But the point I'm trying to make is that's what you would have to do. So if you want to not have to worry about your job, worry about your wage every year, then you have to supplement your job and your wage. And you can do that with investing in the stock market. All right, just to let you know, here we go. TSLY dividend 40 cents, 5% last month. Is that what that is what that comes out to? TSLY pays out monthly, ladies and gentlemen, just so you know. So 5%, you can almost do the math, but they don't always give out 40 cents. All right. Just keep that in mind. Sometimes it's higher than 40 cents. Sometimes it could be lower than 40 cents. But if you can get an average of 40 cents where a stock is $8 and you can get 50%, that's not bad. Return on your money, that's not bad at all. Is it? 40% is not bad, right? 30% is not bad either, right? But 50 or 60. And he's pointing it out here. EV Place says 5% last month, 76 cents before, which was 10% one before last. I can say no on 7.5% average a month on an $8 stock. Yeah, 7.5% every 2 months. 6 times 7.5, 30, 30. It's about 35, 40%, something like that. Yeah, nobody's going to bitch on 40, 50%. So all I'm saying, but that's just it. 40 or 50% is pretty hefty, ladies and gentlemen. For every $1,000, it's $400 annually. Some would say, well, that doesn't seem like a lot, but how much have you spent this month in groceries and gas and electric and energy and your rent or mortgage? I know. Imagine if you actually had some disposable income that you can make investments like the top 10% who's about to get a tax cut tax break and $1 trillion worth of fund money. Um, Imagine what you could do. You could influence the stock market. All right, Brian P., check out your emails. I see you. I knew you're gonna get to it. I saw it earlier. Let's see. I'll get to it. All right. First things first, ladies and gentlemen. As you know, 1 year, 6 months, and after the next 5.5 hours, you're gonna have 1 year, 5 months. Okay. All right. I'm gonna have to add something in the background. By the oh yeah, I don't have it yet. I'm gonna keep doing this. A lot of you are gonna be in trouble. A lot of you are going to need help financially somewhat. We already know this. 80% is having difficulties during the month. After this next 1 year, 5 months, it's going to be more than 80% of the population. And just like I just illustrated the numbers, the bottom 90% average from 2022 numbers is 66,000. You can't live on 66,000 for one person in a major city. Not with one bedrooms costing people $1,800. That's insane. Or 2,000. Actually, In some of these states, it's over 2,000 for a one bedroom. So, I mean, that's kind of crazy. Uh, that's 90% already. So you can see where this is going. You live in a third world country, you just don't know it yet. You can see where this is going. All right. So, first things first, I did mention credit, right? And I did mention you're going to need help. So, you got to go findhelp.org. Our man, Matthew Lesko, that you used to see on late night TV and infomercials and things like that, telling you in front of the Capitol, I have a book, come here and get these government grants. Go get the government grants, ladies and gentlemen. That's what you need to do. By the way, I didn't realize I signed up. It said happy anniversary. Finally. So it is the month of June. That is my annual date. According to this, I signed up on YouTube 7 years ago, although I didn't do anything. I just signed up. But we started 6 years ago. So that's pretty interesting. So we're still here, even with the okey doke by the YouTube gods. Yeah, we're not monetized, ladies and gentlemen. So them days came. They say I do harmful rhetoric because I talk about just what I talked about Elon Musk and stuff, I guess. And there was an election, and I did give out some of the viewpoints on why I thought one candidate was not going to be very good for American citizens. And I believe I proved my point right, but they called it harmful rhetoric because we have the Gestapo running around. We got the detention centers. We got mayhem in our streets with kidnappings from people who are masked and no IDs, plain closed. Yeah, it was expected. And they're trying to get $1 billion into the hands of the billionaires to pay them back. So, what do I mean by pay them back? Pay them back is because they've been buying up their own stocks. So that money's gone to prop up the stock market. So now one party's saying, well, let's give them their money back, $1 trillion worth of money. I'm like, that's like a payback to me because they propped up the stock market. And since the top 10% owns 93% of the stock market, and taxpayers have to pay the money that they're going to give the rich and the wealthy, that seems against the rules to me. They're the ones that have benefited from the capitalist system. They're the ones that benefited from being able to bribe our government officials to give them favor and therefore make them money. So they're the ones that should be bearing the brunt of the taxes. And some people would say, hey, Eric, hold on. The top 10% pay the most taxes. Well, that's exactly my point. Inequality is disguised as, hey, Eric, the top 10% pays most of the taxes. Right. While they give their workers no livable wages. Because obviously you would have to make more than $66,000 a year to have a livable wage, where a $2,000 a month one bedroom would not be a problem when 30% of your income goes to your housing. That's a problem. Where if you need transportation, that might be another 20% of your income. That's a problem. Then you need food. That one bag of food is $100 nowadays. That's a problem. So a livable wage, I'm thinking it's going to be six figures. A livable wage would probably be like 110. So all these people that are working at these major corporations where these guys have billions of dollars, you're not all making six figures. So it would be livable wage. No, they're giving you 60 grand, 45 grand, 70 grand, and you're happy because you can survive. But you can't survive if there's no safety net, such as Medicare when you get older, Medicaid when you get older, or when you have children and they have to be on Medicaid, and you're handicapped and you need Medicaid, or a nursing home, you need Medicaid, and that's not there no more. Where are all these people gonna go die? Where are they gonna go? Hospitals are going to be closed down because they rely on Medicaid and Medicare. So now what? Somebody gets hit in a car accident and now you got to take them 30, 45 minutes away? And that's a long time for saving lives. So this is where we're at. And if you think somebody's coming to save your ass, you got to, you're too far gone already. The government is not in the saving your ass business no more. There used to be, when they followed constitutional laws and things, and they cared about people having Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, veterans having their hospital bills paid, and mental health and all that, trying to be covered somewhat. But they don't care anymore about any of that. Declining empires. So once again, you got 1 year, 6 months to get all your crap because, and I don't mean crap, I mean assets. Because he who has assets in the future that can pay them money are the only ones that's going to be able to survive, because no place you're going to work is going to give you 10% raises or even 5% raises a year. And even if they did give you 5%, that's still not going to beat the inflation number. All right. Taxes are going to rise, by the way, 5 years from now. Oh, well, I'm just saying, I'm like, hold on. But if that bill passes, taxes are going to raise in 5 years. People who make less than 50,000 is going to pay 18% of their income in tax, or 19% of income in tax. Right. The top 10% don't pay 18, 20, 30% in taxes, but you will if this bill passes, and you won't have health care coverage for 20 million people. I'm just saying, I mean, that seems kind of sick to me. All right. It is sick. Check your emails. Get more assets, says Brian P. Exactly, man. That's what you're going to have to do. Speaking about income, today I've sold my classic 1996 Land Rover Discovery to get more ETFs. Oh my, I like it. I like it. Classic 96. Is that really a classic? I think it is. I think it is. 1996. That's 20, no, that's 30 years ago. Yeah, that's the one. That's the one. That's the one you could really do SUV in. The real one, not this new plastic crap. They can't really do what the old ones used to do. Yeah, great move there, man. Great move. Get rid of the older liability, even though it's a classic. Get rid of it because as a cars, you have to pay to maintain. Whereas the wise move, he bought more ETFs. He doesn't have to pay to maintain. Somebody else takes their 1% or 0.75% annual fee. Who cares? If you're going to give me 30%, you can have the 1% or whatever. I don't really care. If you give me 50%, I really don't care either. I only care if I have 3% and you're taking 1%. But I wouldn't do 3%, ladies and gentlemen. That's not wise. Especially after this past month that just went by, in the month of May. Inflation increased to year over year 2.7%, up from previous months and up from previous year. Um, and that's disguised. Go to shadowstats.com. All right, shadowstats.com, and you will see what the real inflation number is. And like I always say, you need to get a raise of 10% every year just to stay even, ladies and gentlemen. So if you get a little raise, that's better than no raise, but try 10%, and nobody usually gets 10% raises. All right, findhelp.org. That's where you go to get help. Just what it says. Findhelp.org. Now, grants from states and government entities, nonprofits, they send the grants to the nonprofits. All right? It's that simple. The states does it as well. Some nonprofits still charge a little fee. Others say, no, we get funding. That is how he's talking about help. You put in your zip code and it'll start showing all the help you need. All right? That's the first thing you need to do. Keep that on your speed dial, under your URL list. Save the pages, because they have, if you need mental health, that's why 211's around. We actually did a phone call when he was on a live stream where I actually called 211. And it was, let me see, we were on an hour later on a Friday night, if I'm not mistaken. So that means it was 10:30 at night on a Friday night, and I called 211. That's right, on your phone you can do 211. The mental health group, or I didn't really do on my phone. I went to findhelp.org, and then I went to caregivers or something like that, or 211.org. I can't really remember. And I actually, because he said it, and I said, you know how we do. I said, this is the SSN Nation. You know how we do this. And this is live. He's like, go ahead and call. And I'm like, okay, it's late night. I wasn't thinking anybody's going to answer. I said, all right, live. I was on the phone, and it was for mental health. They were going things like, they were saying, asking questions like, is are you okay? Are you suicidal right now? Making sure there wasn't an emergency to send somebody there. Then they said, if you need some help, hold on. I'll get you some numbers that you can call to get some help in your area. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that is findhelp.org and also 211.org for your mental health, caregivers, things like that. So there are services out here that the government does not advertise, but when they're trying to reduce government funds for these type of programs, this could also affect findhelp.org. That was the whole point. So American citizens have some help out here: transportation help, medical help, dental help, a lot of different things. Jobs. Yes, even jobs. I mean, this is crazy that they don't actually have this on a PSA on every TV station, everything. No, it's always like hidden. Meanwhile, people get upset that an immigrant might be able to get some health care or something like this because they have their own government grant sites and things like this, right? Our government we're part of NATO. We're part of the Geneva Convention. We made agreement to have migration, refugees, things of this nature. That's the part of being in that alliance. That's why France, Germany, UK, United States, just to name a few, why we accept refugees. So the government funds that, right? A nation of immigrants should help other people that are needing help, right? Why not? That's the whole how America was created. People fled wherever they were from, and Ellis Island, sign in, and good luck. I mean, that was part of the American way. So this right here, a lot of Americans didn't know that there was this type of help. I didn't until he came on the show just last year. So findhelp.org. The link is down below in the description box of YouTube, so you guys can check that out, and wherever you're watching from as well, it'll be in the description box. So that's just for starters. All right. So we'll talk about some other things here in a second. Speaking about income, today I've sold my classic. Okay, there we go. I'm at the moment that my ETF dividends are twice as my average month spend for two people. If I will have to start to pay them out, okay, hold on. Spending for two people. If I will have to start to pay them out. Oh, yeah, exactly. Instead of reinvesting, good job, EV Place. Great job. Great job. That's exactly what you're trying to do. Exactly. This is what the point is. You got 1 year, 6 months to do this right here. This is what you're trying to do. You're trying to make it where you have invested enough where somebody says, okay, I've invested enough and I spend $5,000 a month. I have 5,500, $6,000 coming in. That's what you need right now. That's what your goal is. So then, no matter what happens, you have money coming in to help you. And I shouldn't say no matter what happens. I mean, if you had a complete market meltdown, but in this day and age, with Jerome Powell at the helm, a complete market meltdown won't happen. But again, that's why I say 1 year, 6 months. because you're going to have to make a decision in about 1 year, 5 months, because next May, the president of the United States can now appoint a new head for the Federal Reserve. And unfortunately, what I've seen so far, I don't know if they're actually going to put somebody in place that is qualified. So this could be not so good. So I'm just saying, giving you guys a thing, but I didn't base that my 1 year, 5 months prediction on that. It was based on, because they have to cut rates. And once they cut rates this next time, you're going to wipe out the upper middle class. And once they cut the rates, the prices will go up. They'll rise beyond what they are now. And so you're going to have to pay more money because they have to devalue the currency, right? By selling bonds. That's how they print money. So that's going to be a problem. All right. So once you understand that, then you say, well, I better lock in where I'm going to have money coming in. The stock market is not going anywhere. The top 10% own 93% of the stock market. So they're going to keep manipulating it. They still own corporations, run corporations that have profit. So the stocks are going to stay. So therefore, you have to be in that game, just like you have to be in somewhat of a real estate game. I met somebody yesterday, and this could be something that is going to be off the charts if what they're telling me is true. I always wanted to be in the oil business, the wine business. I didn't get to the oil business though, but I got something that he did, and I can't do the tree business. I can't find anybody. I thought I was going to do the tree business. Can't do that. So now a new opportunity arose potentially. And actually, it's almost like child's play to me because I used to do real estate and things like that. So remember those derivatives I used to tell you guys and talk about, where you can buy something, sign something on a piece of paper, such as this. You buy land, and then you want to build on your land. And if your land increased to a certain value, then you go to the bank or somebody, get a construction loan based on the value of the land, because that's what you're going to use as collateral. You don't need any money. So you start your construction loan. And then when the home is built, or whatever you're building is built, that has a higher value than your construction loan. So then you just go get a loan for the home, a small loan, which is probably 50% of the 50% value. Most banks will give it to you. You already own the land, you own the home. So you're going to be able to get a 50% HELOC. So then you can sell it. That's the flip idea, right? But the point I'm trying to make is you can do that with anything, even commercially. But this one's even better. If I get my way and if things work out and we can make this work, we can make it work, is what I'm trying to say. This one is a go, but I have to do something in between. But the point is, I can almost do something similar with this. It involves land, but one thing better than that. Because if I have land and somebody says, here's a check for $10 million that we're going to build something on your land, that now means my check, my land, that's $10 million, ladies and gentlemen, plus the value after finished. So now I can go there and say, I need this. And they'll say, sure, Rick, you can have a $500,000 loan for that, to do that, to improve the property. So now you get to do crazy stuff. And fortunately for me, a friend of ours knows a guy that's in the oil business. And he started talking to me about a few things. And I'm like, wait a minute, hold on a second. Because it had things to do with some things I've done in the past. And I'm listening to him. And I'm just listening. I'm listening. And I'm like, this is child's play. But there's gatekeepers. See, that's the problem. But I'm not a gatekeeper. So once I get into the flow with these guys, I'm pretty sure everything's going to be good because we had a nice conversation. Everybody says everything went well. Once we get in, I have to share, especially when there's a lot of meat on the bone, because this is insanity. These guys are, oh my God, no wonder these guys are acting stupid out here. I'll have to tell you this story once I get everything in order. But anyhow, that's exactly what you want to do, is what EV Place is doing, what Mr. Dividend's doing, post retirement travel, everybody. That's what you guys want to do. You want to make enough money, become passive. So then, no matter what you do, now you have the money coming every week. Some checks are coming because you can do that weekly. That's what we're talking about. TSLY is a weekly ETF. So you have a number of weeklies. Next thing you know, it might be a $500 for the week. The next week might be $300. Next week might be $100. But over the course of the month, it might be $1,000. Starting, I mean, you might have to invest what, 10,000, but nonetheless, you get an idea. You don't need 100,000 is the point, but you can start building now, and you have 1 year, 6 months to go. So that's the timeline. In another few hours, it's going to be 1 year and 5 months. And that's the timeline you have. If you need help, go to findhelp.org. If you need to get your credit in order to get that 775 in a year and 6 months from now, then you need to go see our part of the SSN Nation, the woman of the hour, Tracy. It's TRACY at resolvefinance.com. You go see her. Hit her up, email TRACY at resolvefinance.com. Let her know SSN Nation sent you, Eric sent you. You know, she's part of the family. She loves what she's doing, trying to help people out of debt without having to file bankruptcy. How about that? Reorganize your debt, just like if you're one of the big boys. How about that? Just like you are one of the riches of the world. Lots of these guys get loans, they can't pay them back, and then the bank refinances it for them or renegotiates with them, even though they can't pay it back. They'll sit there and be like, "Oh yeah, we know you owe us $25 million, but we gave you interest only for 10 years, and now because the balloon payment is due, you don't have the money and can't get it done. No worries, man. We'll restructure this. We'll give you an extension of another 5 years." Does that help you? You don't have that luxury, but at least you have some semblance of that when you deal with Tracy at resolvefinance.com. The link is down below, also in the description box now. And it takes 1 to 2 years. So that's perfect timeline, because at the end of 1.5 years, 1 year, 6 months from now, if you can get to that 775 credit score, wait till you see what the credit card companies will be offering. If you think the offer of 0% interest for 18 months is something special, and here's some miles and all this other crap, imagine if they say other things like, here's some bonus money, here's 24 months, here's 30 months of 0% interest as long as you charge something. I mean, this is where it's going to have to head to. So that's why you want to be in the upper echelon, because also interest rates should be down, which now gives you more buying power. So if you do exactly what Mr. Dividend's doing, EV Place is doing, and all of a sudden you go to a bank and you start showing them, hey man, I got like $10,000 a month rolling in here through this account over here. That's almost like a business. You're a business. That's why you have a social security number. You're a business. You're a subsidiary of the United States. All of a sudden they start going, hey, wait a minute. I thought you just had this little salary thing over here. And then you're like, oh no, no, no. See, yeah, right. I got this other stuff. See, and you have a track record because you have a 1099, worst case scenario. And you're like, here, look, I make this annually too. All of a sudden they start looking at you differently. They say, wait a minute, this guy's over here making $60,000 to $100,000 without working. And he's still got some other incomes coming in. This is the kind of person we like. And he's got collateral. Yeah, your stocks can be used as collateral, right? You guys know the old Elon Musk stories. He uses his stock to buy a lot of stuff. So all of a sudden, you may not call yourself wealthy, but you actually are because you have the collaterals. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's why I give you guys the things that I talk about, because down the line, you always want to have collateral. You always, regardless of what happened, even if you lose all your income, at least you have collaterals, right? You always have something. If you have some real estate, that's something. If you have stocks, that's something. Even if you have the liability cars, that's something, right? Because you can sell it and flip it into money making, just like EV Place said tonight. He said, I love the pricing. I had to get in. I sold my 96 Land Rover, the real deal, not this fake stuff they make today. It's a travesty calling a Land Rover of 2025 a Land Rover. It's disgusting. I mean, it's a joke. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I have to call it like it is. That's part of the problem in America now. They want to act like a 2020 Land Rover is the same as a 1990, 1996, 1990s, 1989 Land Rover. They're not. Not even on the same level at all. In fact, it's a joke. It's like a little toy compared to those. All right? Just saying. Just so everybody understands where we're coming from. All right. Here we go. So we got to get you straight. 1 year, 6 months to go. We have to get your credit straight. So you can do that for yourself. You can get your credit reorganized. They'll cut off a portion of it. You repay it. Then on the other side, they say you're good. And now your credit score is back up to 775 is the goal. You'll be able to get new credit. So take a year, year and a half. Come on now. Because if you have bad credit, that's going to take you way more than a year, year and a half. The shortcuts, you can forget that. Them days are over. Don't even try it. Trying to do removals and trade lines and all that. It works for certain things, but the real deal for the stuff you're going to want and need, you're going to have to do long term, 24 months of work. All right. 18 months of work. Tracy's good for you. All right. Now, the other thing is down below in the description box, your credit. If you need some boost and help, then I got some trade line stuff you can deal with down below. But if you want the best credit monitoring system, it's Smart Credit. The link is down below. They have all three credit bureaus up there for you. They have the hiring index score, the FICO score, the insurance score. All of it's back in that office, Smart Credit Monitoring System. So go to smartcredit.com, but please use the link down below because it's an affiliate link. And we're not monetized on YouTube or any other platform. I'm not even monetized on the iHeart, the podcast anymore. Not because of anything. It's not anything that happened with the podcasting. It's because I didn't do videos for like a month and I didn't upload any podcasts for like a month. So I dropped below the level of how many downloads on the podcast in order to be monetized. So has nothing to do with somebody jacked me like YouTube jacked me. All right. Just so everybody is clear on that. All right. So we'll get it back. It's just that I have to upload more podcasts. That's so on iHeart, iTunes, and all that. So we'll eventually get back into it. All right. Here we go. I see EV Place. He says in geopolitics, they're only temporary alias and potential future enemy. Exactly. Of temporary alliances and potential future enemy. Exactly. Exactly. And that's what you have to think about, ladies and gentlemen. Joe Nay, I know you heard that bing, bing, bing going off on your phone today with the reinvestments. Welcome to the SSN Nation Money Making Monday live stream. And he brings his tagline this evening. What's good, everybody? It's all good today. How is everybody doing this evening? All good today. That's all I can say. I hope everybody else is. So far, everybody else is doing the salsa dance as well, doing what they got to do. I just smashed that like button. Thank you so much for the mention. Get that one piece to the like button, ladies and gentlemen. Show some love. Again, the YouTube gods don't show any love to the channel. Never have, never will. But who cares? We out here trying to change lives. We're out here trying to help people. That's the number one goal. Rising tide. I need a whole rising tide to happen because we got a lot of people in disarray. It's getting bad out here. Here we go. Eric, Think about lithium business. I can't build packs for whole US market. Exactly. 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 But I'm worried about the lithium itself because there's new technology that's come out, and I'm just a little worried about lithium being a breakdown for renewable resources. Once it breaks down and you can't use it anymore, recharge capabilities, where do you throw it away at? That's the thing I worry about. So we have all this renewables, but we can't shred it. We can't turn it into some. Although, hold on. I shouldn't say that. There's supposedly some new technology that you can, but it's not widespread and it's not even available. It's just testing. So it's, until further notice, until we see an actual site where people can actually take it and they can show that they can do this 100%, then I would feel a whole lot better. Because lithium or anything, acids and batteries and all this stuff being left in landfills, dumped in the ocean, toxic chemicals, that's not good for humans or any animals on the planet. So we're killing the planet over profits, and that's one of the problems as well. But yes, you can't build the packs for the whole US. And speaking of those packs, ladies and gentlemen, if you're into the car speakers, and I don't know, it probably can be into something else as well. EV Place is over there on YouTube selling some packs that helps you boost your speakers with your it two things. There's two things. Hold on. Oh man, I can't do this. I just realized I don't have I just realized something because I have YouTube on here. I won't have yours. Uh-oh. Hold on. It's only a few days ago. What was that? 4 days ago? Oh, no. I just realized I have other YouTube stuff that I've posted up too. I need something from 3, 4 days ago. Okay, let's see. This was one. Let's see if this is no, 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 no. It was eBay, right? Wasn't it eBay? Hold on, it was eBay. It wasn't YouTube. It was eBay. eBay. There we go. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, yeah, we have to show some love with our own. This man does car speakers, installations, so you can go boom, boom with some of the clearest sound because he can add the power in the trunk. That's renewable. 700 watts, was it? I think that's what it was. That's pretty good. And it's renewable. It's a battery pack that can recharge, and I believe while you're driving, which is pretty cool. That's pretty epic. That would be epic. And you can get cleaner sound when you have clean power. Again, a lot of people don't understand that music isn't just music. There's levels to the sound quality. Yes, I do have it. So therefore, you can go check it out yourself, ladies and gentlemen. I'll put a link down below. All right, put a link down below. There you go. This is what the man does. Check it out. Check it out. 12 volt, 48. What is this? 3.7 volt, 700 watt lithium ion pack, 300 amp discharge, continue, recharges, and he puts it in. He told me he had to do something. I'm not really familiar with how the setup all works, but oh, this looks like a nice little panel. Wait a minute. I didn't even look at the pictures. Hold on. Is this flat? Oh my. That's a panel. Or is it? Oh, it's bigger. There. Okay, that must be the top. Okay, that's what it is. Okay. Ah, okay. That's why the dimensions were different. Okay. I see what we're dealing with here. Pretty cool. Okay, and you got the plugs. Yeah, that's pretty sweet. Okay, I like it. Got some brackets going down. Okay. I see, I see, I see, I see. All right. So on here, he has $200 each. And then buy two, get discounts. I like it. Buy three, get a little more discount. Buy four, get a little more discount. Few cycles. Used a few cycles. Okay. So hold on. Speaking of cycles, um, lithiums are a little different, but How many cycles can you do? Wouldn't it be like, and what's a cycle anyhow? I'm thinking every time it's like you don't turn it off, right? You don't go to zero. So I don't even know what a cycle really is. I'm thinking a cycle is when you cut it off and cut it back on. Power up, power off. So it has to be 1,000, a few thousands, I would imagine, right? Hard to tell. I'm not in the lithium game, but we'll get to that in a second. All right, but back to the situation at hand. Down below, you want some stocks, free stocks? The links are down below in the description box. Again, if you're on YouTube watching, it's in the description box. All right, so there's no problem there. The link to get your super power box, 700 amps. 700 watts, $200. That's not bad. Oh, I missed a message. Not bad at all. Um, I see some other guys too with 36 volt, 100 amps, golf cart, lithium battery, Bluetooth, LCD. Hey, that's $600 though. That's crazy. And I see you have some variations as well. Maybe it's the same thing. All right, there you go. Let me do this. Joe Nay, what's the weather like out there, man? That's what I want to know. What's happening with the weather? It's summertime. I couldn't even handle June. I couldn't even handle June and May. I'm sorry, not June and May. April and May. When it got to May for the SSN Lifestyle Music Festival, when we were there, May, whatever it was, 6, 7, 8, 10, whatever. After that, we hung out for another like 3 weeks, 2, 3 weeks. Man, as it got through the end of May, it was, woof, it started heating up. And we were in Los Corrales. One pack is 24 cells. Okay, so that's what it means. 12 volts, 48 at 4 SP. Okay, 8 horsepower, 3.7, 700 watt. Okay. Well, do your thing, man. I like it. I like it. Oh, by the way, let me do something else while I'm thinking about it. Because I'm doing a few different things. Because I didn't put Webull down here for the free shares of stocks. This is crazy. I thought it was already on here. But no, I just looked. That's not cool. So get your free stocks from Robinhood, gives you free 1 share stock. Webull gives you anywhere from 5 to 15 fractional shares or full shares. There's a range. It depends on the promotion time when you sign up. Go over there, and but you got to put in some money though with Webull. And Moomoo, you have to put $100 or more in the account, and the account has to be over 100 or has to average $100 or more for the next 60 days, and then they distribute your 5 to 10 free shares of stock after you've held the money on there $100 or more. So either way, and if you don't like buying stocks, then there's Wealthfront. Go study Wealthfront because $500 to $4,999, zero management fee, with the link down below. Just saying. So you can put in $500, let it ride, see if they love what they're doing, managing it. Maybe you do the 9% a year, which, $500, 10% is $50. So maybe you get $45 for the year. But hey, that's a start. You didn't have to earn it. Just saying. Or you can ride the wave and join the Yomax ETF family or the Defiance group family and get weekly payouts and monthly payouts. And maybe you don't want none of that. And you say, hey, you know what? I want to go with what's that real estate investment trust you were talking about? ARR is like 17% now. ORC is roughly about the same, 17, 18%. The AGNC is about 15 to 16%. These are real estate investment trusts. PSEC has declined in value. It's their 52-week low because they need the Fed to cut the rates. But they're still giving out 18% return. So what can I say? Nothing bad. So you have options out here, and you have to buy real estate. Hey, gold, silver, precious metals, fine. If you want to get those, that's fine. Just keep in mind one thing and one thing only that you should consider. So I have the silver stackers. My friend Yankee Stacking. If you're a silver stacker, go check out Yankee Stacking's channel. He's awesome, right? He's been doing this. Me and him started about the same time, and so he actually came on one time, and he's heavily into the stacking culture, so to speak. The church, right? He's in that church, and we have two different philosophies. Which everybody in investing, you can have a different philosophy than me or EV Place or Mr. Dividend, Joe Nay, anybody here. Everybody has different investment strategies. And the thing about stacking to me was I love the idea of you should have gold, silver, precious metals. But my thing was stacking element, and I'll give you my reasoning why I'm not a real fan of stacking because when the price was I'll use silver because we had a silver stacker challenge where I gave away 10 ounces of silver in like 20, it might have been 2020. Either I think it was at the end of 2019, and then that's when we started. It ends in 2020, and it didn't go up to a certain price. It was 13. I think it was 13.50. Yeah, $13.50. So 10 ounces cost $135 in 2019 at the end, December, I think it was. If I have my dates right. Okay, so now we go 5 years later, 5.5 years later, and let me see if I can pull up gold and silver real quick. Let me see. Gold. No, I need silver. That says gold. Is that? Let's see. Okay. Silver is at $35 right now. All right. Gold and silver tends to keep up with inflation. So what that is saying is the difference is what is that? 22%. That's it. No, no, sorry, not 22%. It's 200. Let me see. Well, anyhow, 13 times 2 is 26, so that's 200. So, yeah, it's almost 300%. All right? That, that would be about right if I got my numbers right. Yeah, it's around 300% because it's $35 and 0.84 and 200 and some percent. Okay, so we'll just say 275%. I don't know what the number is, but it's around that number, which is 2.5 times the value. So the question you have to ask yourself is in those 5 years, did all the prices go up to 2.5 times? See, that's where the problem comes in. The answer is going to be yes. Everything went up 2.5 times. But I can only buy exactly what I bought back then. It doesn't get me ahead. So it doesn't move the needle when I actually have to cash out. And by the way, I don't get the price. I don't get the $35.84 price. No dealer is going to buy it at that price. So I'm going to have to take an undercut. I might have to take 33 or something. Right? So there's that. There's nobody that's going to give you 100%. So anyhow, so the prices have went up 2.5 times. The only thing that hasn't went up 2.5 times is probably gas, because gas has to stay within a certain range of the people. It's based on a whole nother calculation. It's not based on any president or anybody like that. It's based on supply and demand. So when nobody's going out, like during a pandemic, that means the price is going to drop like a rock. So in 2020, 2021, price is going to drop like a rock. It's that over that next time, it's going to rise because there's demand. That's how it works. All right. So the pricing is once I sell back into turn it back into fiat dollars, I still can only buy the same thing. And in some cases, I might some of the things outpaced it, right? So that's the problem that I have with this gold stacking. And the other problem I have is just like anything else. If you buy Nvidia and you bought Nvidia for, again, it dropped under $100. Now it's at 150. People who bought when we were talking about it 2 months ago, and it was under 100. It was 90, 95, 80 something, 86, 85s, 87s. You had a chance to be under 100. Now it's at 153. Now the question is, it'd be the same thing. So you bought those at 100 or less, half of the price, damn near for some, 80, yeah, almost. But anyhow, let's just say 90. Now, what does it look like if you buy the same amount of shares at 150? That means your dollar cost average when you sell brings it up to the difference. So let's just say it's a $60 difference. So $30 more is 120. That's your dollar cost average now. So now if you sold all your shares, you net wise, you're making less per share. So it's no big deal that way. So it's the same way with gold and silver and precious metals. If I bought more at $20 a share, 10 more shares at $20 a share, and 10 more shares at $30 a share, I'm bringing my dollar cost average up every time. So when I want to stack some more and I'm paying $35 plus premiums and it's costing me $38 per ounce or thereabouts, then all of a sudden, that's, my dollar cost average is even higher. So what's the point is what I'm getting at, because now when I sell it, sure, I have more gold and silver, but my dollar cost average is closer. It's not way back 5 year ago pricing. It's now at the pricing of probably like two years ago. So anyhow, that's why I like stocks and real estate, because with real estate you get two forms. I'm talking about real estate in itself as an existence. I'm not talking about an investment. I'm talking about as an existence. If you buy real estate, it goes up because you're devaluing the currency, so everything has to go up. But with real estate, you can get passive income in today's money. And if I still have real estate next year and it gives me passive income, that's next year's money, which means the value of the currency has devalued. Now I get more money. So it stays the same. I can buy more stuff because I can charge people more. So next year I raise the rent or raise whatever, 20, 30%. I get to stay ahead of the curve and make more profit because I'm going to charge you more than the inflation rate. So I get to make more profit. It's a beautiful thing, right? So stocks are similarly the same way. You're buying, you're getting dividends in now money, right? Okay. I explain this a lot all the time, but just in case we have new people here, just want to let you guys know. Here we go. One pack is 24 cells, four groups of 6 cells in parallel. Yes, I like the parallel feature. Thank you. Hey, Eric, I just picked up a graded Jackie Robinson card. Okay, grade 9, grade 10. Can't be rookie card. Can it? Let me know. For $20. Okay, well, you're going to have to explain. What year? Uh-oh, hold on. I got to do something. I messed up. What year, ladies and gentlemen? Yeah. Yeah, that's what happened. Yeah, I'm in. Sorry, I was doing. Sorry, guys. Okay. Do not shoot. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. I'm doing two things at once. I gotta. I messed up. They gave me some numbers and I didn't put them in. Now I got to redo the whole thing. All right, here we go. $20 is good, but we don't know what the card is. When you say graded, we need to know what it is. Give me the maker. You know, is it Fleer, Gold Packs, Premiers? Let me know. 1,000 cycles in regular use, usually full charge and full discharge. Okay. Let's say for 4.2 volts to 3 volt per single cell, that's where the whole capacity is. I understand what you're saying. That's good to know. So it is full charge and full discharge. Exactly 1,000 cycles. Okay. Love it. In regular use. Okay. Then that's what I was talking about. It's still hot. When I walk into the hallway, feels like a sauna. Yeah, yeah, Joe Nay, tell me about it. As soon as you go outside, it does feel like a sauna. Literally, man made, earth made sauna, Mother Nature sauna. I'm telling you, at the end of May, it felt like that. And I was just thinking when we left, I was like, what would June and July feel like? And August? I was like, holy smokes, if this feels like this now, we're talking about Dominican Republic, ladies and gentlemen. I was like, what? As soon as you got in the unit, you have to have the AC in May. It was crazy. And I was thinking, wait a minute, the weather's only like 82, 80 degrees, but the humidity level's rising. So it makes it feel hotter than it is because water's all over. Well, it's not really water, but you can feel like there's moisture. Starts getting crazy. I'm a California kid. We have low humidity. So I can feel it. It's like, holy smokes, this is getting hot. Not even every time you have to worry about wearing hats. You got to worry about showing your skin because it heats up. The sun doesn't seem like it's doing much, but oh yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's like the water particles or the air particles somehow is like beaming. You be in the sun for like 5 minutes or less. Wake up the next day. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't go sitting there leaving yourself half open to the sun. It's getting crazy. You have to wear hats. I had my own little sombrero. I wasn't wearing a sombrero. I'm just playing. Just playing. All right. But then, anyhow, yeah, man. Okay. So that's what I was thinking. So you got another June was like that, I'm sure, because like I said, in May, that's what it felt like to me last year. June, July, August, all of it. And then I'm over here like in the tropical zone and it's raining every freaking day damn near here. What's happening in DR? Is it raining this little drizzle rain for 30 minutes every day? I'm pretty sure that is because when we lived in Puerto Rico, that's what used to happen. Um, it's got to be. It's got to be. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So 1 year. So hold up. I got something I need to do. 1 year, 6 months, and in another 5 hours is going to be 1 year, 5 months. So that's how it's gonna have to be, man. That's how it's gonna have to be. All right, hold up, man. Hold up. Where's it at? Is this it? No. Oh, there we go. Let's see. Is this gonna be the one magic number? Let's see. Oh, they didn't hear from me in time. Oh man, that's cold blooded. That's cold blooded. They say it expired. That's messed up. Yeah, I got to do fingerprints. Man, this is crazy. All right. Anyhow, here we are, ladies and gentlemen. In case you're new here, here's Tamara Larry. She's also gone on to the dividend train. Welcome to the Assassination Money Making Monday live stream. She knows what her schedule is. 1 year, 6 months. She has to get everything in order. And she's going to join us, I'm sure, in that party because I know she already told me she's on that stock market party. So that's pretty sweet. So we'll see what happens. SGC signed 1947. Really? Nice. Nice. Really? $20. Brian P, are you still doing those auctions? Because $20 seems awfully cheap. I mean, that seems SCG 1947, Jackie Robinson. PSA 10. Let's go see. I'm going to Google it. I can't believe 20, but it would seem it would be worth more than that. It would seem to be. Oh, Leaf. 1948 Leaf is 138 grand. What the? Are you kidding me right now? Wow. Bond bred 1947 Jackie Robinson SCG one Hall of Famer 4,000. These are on eBay, by the way. I don't know the values of them. I mean, sometimes on eBay they do crazy pricing. 1947-48 Jackie Robinson Brooklyn Dodgers pitcher pack SGC1 rookie. 1999, 1947, 66 exhibits Jackie Robinson SGC VGEX for 1100. Well, $20 seemed to be a deal. I don't see any. Here's a Jackie Robinson 1947 baseball card. Uh, Bond bred to 750. SGC 166 exhibits 149. All I can say is I don't see how you could go wrong with the Jackie Robinson rookie card. And the fair 1.5 rookie card by Bond Bread is $525. So $20 seems to be a winner. Congratulations. That seems to be a winner. Heritage Auctions, by the way. But that's not where you got it. I'm just saying that's where I was looking at where they had 525. Apparently somebody bid 525 for this one. And it's only a fair though. For 525. Not even anything crazy. He's got a geez, that's pretty bad. What the heck is that about? Okay, a fair one for 525. That's crazy. So much better would probably be the two G's or thereabouts 1,500. I like those type of deals, man. I like those. Great job. Congratulations. Congratulations. Brian P. Mr. Dividend. Yeah, this is a fair 1.5. Unbelievable. It's a bond bread though. But which that's that was the bid. It's up to 675 right now at Heritage Auctions for a 1947 bond bred Jackie Robinson, which only has a rating of 1.5. Holy smokes. That's crazy. Are you kidding me right now? And now it's up to 675 and with buyer's premium it's going to be 823. Bid next minimum 700. Wow. That's a 1.5. Not even a 9 or a 10 or an 8. Nothing. Sheesh. Wow. I like it, man. Congratulations. Oh, it was the exhibits. 66 exhibits. That's over 2G. Well, over 1,000. Let's put it that way, potentially. What's the rating on it? Yes, plus shipping. What's the rating on it, man? You didn't tell us, I don't think. Let's see. Oh, you did. Yeah, you said it's graded. What's the rate? What's the graded number? I got a I got two of them. Are you kidding me right now? Damn, Brian P. He's out here doing the damn thing with the collectibles. Yeah, even on again, I don't know the prices, but it appears people are bidding 873 for the bond bread. I mean, geez, it's up to 675 plus the premium is 843, I think it was. So that's clearly going to go over 1,000. And I already saw the bond bread that had a rating of what was that 8.5 or something on eBay. It was at 1,900, 19,999. At least that's what they're asking. No, but whatever it is. I got news for you. China's June factory activity unexpectedly expands. Private survey shows. I tried to tell you guys. This is not what you think in a global environment. In fact, the world has been global before America was invented by taking stolen land. So the world already was doing, you heard of the Silk Road, right? Um, uh, I want to say Benihana. Benihana. It's not Benihana. I'm trying to think of the guy. The Mongol Empire. They had a road to China, and the emperor, because of the trade was so valuable, he made sure thieves, bad people were nowhere near the road that carried all of the items that people needed on each part of Asia. So they had business transactions going. The road was clear. Even if a female went by herself to sell goods, it was that safe. Their empire didn't play with our money. We're like, don't be playing with our money and don't be playing with our people's money. Somebody out here trying to do the right thing, we're going to make sure they're safe. Now, they weren't the best empire, but that's the one thing they did. They were like, hey, man, we got people out here trying to make a living. We're going to make sure they're safe. That's what your government's supposed to do. Make sure you're safe. All right. So this is what I was saying before about when people said the tariffs was going to hurt China. And I was like, how? Because the United States is the consumer nation. The Chinese have the manufacturing facility. So a headline such as China's June factory activity unexpectedly expands. It was only unexpectedly because you weren't an SSN nation member. Everybody else here knew they're going to expand because there's the rest of the world uses China's manufacturing facilities. And so when one door opens, another door closed. The United States door closed. So then they said, hey, we got a factory that's available because somebody just bailed on us and because they're not going to be selling their stuff inside America because it costs them 10 to 20 to 30 to 100% more. Come over and play. They said, gladly. So this is no shocker. We talked about this before. Actually, I made a comment today. I talk on social media. I told people that, I said, actually, here's the way I look at it. China has America in a checkmate. The reason why it's a checkmate is because America needs products that are cheap to enter into America. And so the checkmate is this: when you have a tariff increase of 50, 60, 100%, and businesses in America go out of business because now they can't import their products here. That's what happened. American companies have went out of business and laid off people, American citizens who make money. So now you have a company gone, employees are people also gone. Now they have to rely on the system. Now they got to go down and get unemployment or food stamps, Medicare, Medicaid, whatever. They need the social services net, which taxpayers have to pay. So more people on those type of roles means more taxpayer money has to go as we added another million people or more. That's why I call it a checkmate, because the deficit does not matter. The deficit's only going to get bigger because America's the consumer nation and Chinese citizens aren't the consumers to America. There's a small amount of Chinese customers that buy from Americans because American parts now cost more in China because they did a trade war. So that's why I call it a checkmate, because they don't have to rely on the American market. And as it turns out, 59% of everything, their revenue from factories, come outside of the United States now. 41% comes from the United States, 59% comes from the rest of the world. So that's why now it's checkmate, because they don't need America to buy. That's the difference. And America needs them for sure, because now it's going to cost us billions of dollars, or companies, to create factories. And then once they create those factories, what's going to happen? They are in no man's land. If they create factories, how much is that product going to cost to sell to the United States consumer? And what if the United States consumer doesn't have the money to buy it at this new higher price now? You wasted billions of dollars to build a factory for no reason. That's why I call it checkmate. Foolish buffoonery. So, like I said, that little headline that I saw, it wasn't unexpected. We knew what was going to happen. This is what the checkmate was coming to. That's why you don't want to play around. All right. SGC2. All right. So you got the exhibits that I saw. That's nice, man. All right. So are you going to give the golden secret so other people can win too? Or do I have to go to Heritage Auction and hope? Although you can probably find a lot of, oh, doggone it, I did it again. You can probably find a lot of different auctions online that sell baseball cards. And if you know what you're looking for, 1947, it looks like $1,020 is a no-brainer. Like I told you guys, I was at the restaurant equipment auction in Miami, and it's in a warehouse, and they were supposed to sell restaurant equipment. And when we get there, the guys that was gonna have the restaurant equipment, they got all funky about something, and they said, "Well, we're not going to sell all this. We're only going to sell that." Well, since they had people there, and people were like, "Man, what the heck's going on?" They started saying, "Well, we got some collectibles, sports business went out of business, and they only had like a, well, not only, but they had a little section of 30, 40 things." So they started auctioning things off. Now I'm sitting there and I see, you have to look at the old videos that I had, but up in the house, we had the Wings video with Michael Jordan, or the Wings picture with his hands out like that. And they're all signed. He signed them, right? Has authenticator on there and everything, right? Well, I didn't know about the Wings. I know that that picture existed, like a poster, but I didn't realize that there was any value to it, because it was just a poster in a nice frame. And it was signed, okay, cool, and has the authenticator shit on it. And so I'm like, all right, cool. So the guy starts out, he's like, "Who'll give me $10?" Nobody's bidding, because people are there for restaurant equipment. Nobody's into sports. No, or it doesn't matter. It's Michael Jordan, but it just looks like a picture, a poster, a picture of Michael Jordan, right? Wings. And I'm thinking like, okay, Wings, that's pretty cool. I start looking at him like, yeah, that's pretty cool. I don't Google or nothing. I just like, that's pretty cool. The guy goes, "Who'll give me $20? The first person to give me 20, you can have it." So I was like, $20. Something like that. Was that something that cheap? So then it sits at my grandmother's house, because I'm just thinking it's just a picture. I don't really care. I'm just like, it's cool. I'll just get it over to the house eventually in Cali. This is in Florida. So then I get it at the house in Florida. A friend comes over and he starts going, "How much did you pay for that?" I go, "Why?" I said, I think it's like $20 or $30. I don't remember what it was. It was something like that. He goes, "You kidding? You know what this is?" He goes, "This is the Wings post." I said, "I know. I know it's Wings." He goes, "No, you don't understand. It's signed. It's this, that." And I look online and I'm like, "Are you kidding me right now? These things are like thousands of dollars." It was crazy. But I had no clue, because I haven't been into collectibles for like over 40 years. So I thought it was very funny. Um, and it's still funny, quite frankly, because nobody was there for that. Everybody was there for restaurant equipment, so nobody gave a damn. It was crazy. But man, what is? Oh, I see what happened. Okay, let me. I'm trying to do several things, and it's not working right now. Trying to get authenticated. I keep missing the window to put the number in because Brian P, Mr. Dividend, always likes to pull my chain when he does this. I know what he's trying to do. Joe Nay, I see he's not. Joe Nay usually says something so I can get on my rant. So not tonight, but anyhow, you know what? I'm having too much fun with this. Just let you guys know. SGC2. All right. Well, wait. You didn't give me the grade, man. You didn't give me the grade. Come on. 10, 5, 8, 1.5, like this other one. Come on. I'm waiting. Oh, it looks like they got me in. That's cool. Oh, they just by default got me in? Oh, default got me in. Okay, cool. Great. Thank you. Um, there we go. They let me in somehow. All right, here, let me do this. I'm missing something. All right. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this was just going to be short and sweet tonight. No biggie. But I appreciate you all being here and understanding that this is the countdown. 1 year, 5 months left, 1.5 years. You got to get everything in order. Your window is shrinking to make sure you have passive income coming in here. We gave you a few ways down below in the description box, definehelp.org. Go check that out. We gave you ways to get your stock. We gave you ways to clear your credit. So that way, a year and a half from now, there's no excuse for not having the 775. We gave you a way to get passive income through stocks. I'm going to have other stories if I can put together another package. So far, I haven't been able to put anything together over the last few years of any significance. So hopefully, this may be the one. Remember, a lot of you don't realize millionaires fail on average 17 times. So you have to keep going, coming up with something different. And by the way, I want to say something else. A lot of you have been watching Shark Tank for what, 10 years, 15 years? And Mark Cuban left the show. He finally came out and said, I think I saw an interview. I'm going to pull it up because he actually said he didn't make any money from any of those businesses or something like to that effect. Now think of all the businesses that he put money into, startups literally. They've already started and they had a great story and they said, hey, this is what we'll do. We'll work hard. We'll do this. We'll do that. Think about all those businesses and think about revenue is one thing. Profits is another. Revenue, you can run the table on, but if you can't keep the profit, then there's no money there. Then you are running a business. You do have revenue, but if you don't have profits, you're not going to be in business long unless you have somebody that's going to give you more money. That's about the only way it works. All right. So let me see if I can pull that up. Let me see if I can find something about that. Let me see if that's a Google item. Be pretty cool if it was. All right. Make sure you go over to stopstrugglingnow.com, get some gear. Emerging millionaire. Is that you? You're in the house? Because literally, you're going to have to be six figure and doing something. Have to get your assets paid for. Wait a minute. What's this? SARS stats. You sent me some. SARS is usually a report for hotels. Let's see what's going on here. Don't FinCEN. Did they resend that or did they make you do it? I have a feeling they made you do it because the tech bros are in our government and they want to make sure they get everybody's info and whatever they're doing. So it would not surprise me if this happens. Because remember, you guys, you have to understand what's going on here. There's just like right now when you're talking and you say something, and then you go over and all of a sudden ads start popping up for something that you were talking about. They're going to use that to their full advantage for everything to streamline advertising, streamline what's given to you. So it's going to be your preferences. So if you are into, I'll have to use political parties, then you're going to be in a bubble. They're going to start sending you stuff for your political party, and whatever those guys say is all you're going to be getting, for instance, in the future. Right now, you can still turn and do whatever, but all I'm saying is this is the type of stuff that's going to start happening where things are going to keep you in a bubble. And unfortunately, the tech bros are going to use that against Americans, against the world, quite frankly. And they can pinpoint you. Now they want you to give your fingerprints up. I mean, it's getting ridiculous, quite frankly. Um, I don't. Okay, here we go. SARS stats. What is that? Suspicious activity report. Oh, 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 what is this? There's a housing government sponsored insurance loan and finance company. Are you kidding me right now? 2021 fraud type territories. Let's go, Cali. Wow, I can look up something here. Oh, you can look up companies. Oh, this is good. This has bank check form. Wait a minute. Oh my. Generate. Hold on now. Oh, oh, oh. They got a SARS report, suspicious activities report, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my God. And they're telling you which companies in the state. Oh, no, they're not. No, they're not. No, they're not. Loan or finance, 110 funds transfer. They're not telling you who the people are. They're just saying they're giving you a number. Government payment, 1,204. They're not giving any real info. They're just telling you how many incidences a SARS report. Okay, just so you guys understand, a SARS report is simply you go down to the bank, deposit $12,000. That's going to spit out a SARS report to whoever. That's how it works. And actually, you could put in 7 grand and it could still do a SARS report. You can put in 30 grand and there'll be a SARS report. I mean, you don't know what the SARS report is. It just says government payment 34 in all of 2024. And then it says funds transfer 110, which means maybe somebody went down and did $105,000 funds transfer. I mean, so that did a SARS report. So that doesn't really tell us anything. Quite frankly, I thought they were going to start naming names. That would have been interesting. Company names or whatever, persons. So yeah, that is interesting. Thank you for that, Brian P. He's the one that's responsible. I won't hold on. You know what? I'm going to show you guys what it looks like, just so you'll know. Let's go to the page. Check this out. A SARS report for FinCEN. This is crazy. Okay, this is again goes along with what I was saying about the tech bros. All right, the tech bros. This is what they want. They want to keep track of all this, which is by default the government. That's how you make an authoritarian government, is because you know everybody's accounts. You know what everybody's doing. And you can turn them off. And you also can arrest people and take their stuff. I had a conversation with my friend about that the other day. I said, this one thing, which is the Diddy trial, by the way. The government, he's not only going to be in trouble for whatever he's doing, but the government, the United States government's good for another thing. They like stealing stuff, right? So they're going to attach it to a RICO charge, or try to. So then they can take Combs International, Combs Enterprises. They're going to say you use corporation to do this nasty stuff. So therefore, we get to take your corporation. That's what they're going to try if he loses. So I'm just letting you guys know things aren't what they appear in America. All right. And they use other tactics as well to do that. Just like when they find alleged drug money, and then they use it. Well, then this is in the furtherment of crime. So now we have to take your house, your cars, your this, that, and the other, right? Same type of thing. So keep that in mind. Okay, can we get here? View tab. Okay, yeah, we're here. Let's go. Here you go, ladies and gentlemen. SARS. Check this out. Is this crazy or what? I just put something in. It was a loan or finance company, December 2021. And then I just put other instrument types. I did all gaming instruments, only one. Foreign currency, only one. Something suspicious. Government payment has 1,204. Okay, but those are SARS. I don't. I mean, I don't get it. But whatever. That means nothing to me. Money orders, government payment 4. Consumer loan checks total 113 total. Yeah, this doesn't mean anything. Suspicious activity, credit cards, all that. When you talk about millions of people, this isn't that many suspicious activity reports. Only a few thousand in a state that has over 30 million people or something. I mean, that's not that many. This is crazy. 4,800. But when you start doing this for 50 states, then all of a sudden it starts being 100,000, you know, uh, 200,000 activities for one thing. Now starts getting crazy, right? All years total 48. That's 221. Okay. So they had 4,800 SARS reports in 2021. Great. For loan or finance companies. Uh, all right. Okay. Here it is. Here it is right here. Remember when I was talking about Mark Cuban? Check this out. Let's see if this is the one. Oh, this is from, yeah, it might be the one because it's December 2024. So this could be the one. We'll see here in a second. All right. Let me know what you guys think. 2. So you got a 2. Okay. All right. So you got a 2. The other guys was 1.5. The 1.5 is now bid up to what? With the premium is going to cost them 843, was it? 843, 873, whatever the number is. So, hey, it's going to reach 1,000 for the bid for sure. So even on a 1.5 or a 2, it's going to be worth 1,000. Still had some days to go. So you know that's pretty cool. All right. Okay, here we go. Yeah, so these guys are all hot shots. Just like me and you, we're hot shots investors too. Remember, we lose 15 times on average when we have businesses. So I always point this out. Like I tell my daughters, I say, hey, when you're trying something, just remember 15 times average means some people took 20, 25 different times before they became successful. And some people did it after the 5th time or the 10th time. But each time is a journey and a separate journey, and you get to learn what happened from the previous journey. But that still does not get you any closer to success in the next journey. So you can't go, oh, well, I failed once, I failed 5, I failed 10, I deserve it. This one should be good. Nope. You got to put in hard work again. And it stands on its own merit. So that's why I'm saying when Mark Cuban says this, and I give him kudos, I love this when a guy who has billions of dollars and he actually admits when things aren't going their way. It's very hard for people that are winners a lot of the time to admit that and be humble, right? This is why I used to always tell you guys, you can't win them all. That's the point. You can't win them all. There's some things that are safer than others, but you can't win them all. So check this out. This is pretty cool. I got to give the man credit for this. All right. That's why I like Mark Cuban, because one of the reasons I like him is because of this. The guy doesn't run around like I'm a billionaire. I never lose. I'm always winning. I never have problems. I like this. Mark Cuban admits, hold on, let me make sure you guys can see this. This is what I like right here. Mark Cuban admits, I've gotten beat, end quote, after losing 20 million on Shark Tank startups. 20 million, ladies and gentlemen, right? In fact, I'm going to put this down in the box. This should inspire people. This man, and don't use the excuse. I don't even want to hear the excuse, because I already know what people's going to say in the comment section. They're going to say, not in our comment section probably, but in others, they're probably going to say, well, he's worth billions. So what if he lost $20 million? I'm like, that's not the point. The point is, even with the man that has billions and he invests in a company, wastes 20 million, he admitted it. And that tells you he's ordinary citizen, and letting you know as an ordinary citizen that it doesn't guarantee that you're going to be successful because you have money. That's what he's saying. Like I've always said, just because you're on top right now, everything's fine. You have money. But every now and then you go on a losing streak, just like you go on a winning streak. It balances out, but you have to keep trying. And that's what I said about the Shark Tank show, or The Den, and all these shows around the world, is that it was beautiful that an investor such as a Mark Cuban and all the other sharks could sit there, and they actually had a crew that would bring them potential businesses to invest in. And they could actually vet some of these businesses. So think of this. He and the sharks are vetting these businesses beyond what normally would happen. They're not a startup with them. They're actually coming in, they're looking at their books, they're saying, this is what you're doing. I agree. I'm a multi-billionaire successful. And they can't even pick the winners. That's why I caution you on thinking that you all of a sudden can pick winners all the time. You can't pick winners all the time. You're going to have far more losing businesses or deals than you will wins. But like Mark Cuban said infamously one time, he says, I just got to win once. Right? Think about it. That's it. So, anyhow, let me get back to the screen. I get excited whenever I talk about business, because this is exactly what happens. A lot of people feel like, oh man, I failed. I shouldn't do it again. I couldn't do it. No, it's a learning experience. All right. Mark Cuban, the billionaire entrepreneur and longtime investor on Shark podcast, has spoken about his financial losses on the show. Despite investing nearly 20 million in various startups, Cuban admitted during a 2022 appearance on the Full Send podcast that he hasn't made a profit from his Shark Tank investments all these years, ladies and gentlemen. Can you believe that? All these years. So the question is, remember when I said average is 17 times? How many Shark Tank businesses did he get? Did he buy into? That ultimately becomes the question, right? He says he lost 20 million. Well, I, I mean, various startups. So was it 25? Was it 20 startups in his, I don't know how long he was on the show, about 10, 7, 8 years, right? Um, Cuban was candid when asked if he was financially up overall. Oh no, I've gotten beat, he said. Among his losses was Breathometer, a smartphone breathalyzer startup Cuban labeled his biggest failure. The company earned backing from all five sharks, including, oh, look at this. All five, Cuban, Greener, Kevin O'Leary making the standout deal, and they all lost. Look at this. All of them said this was a winner. And it ends up being they can't even use all of their power, marketing, and might to make it successful. Think about that. Think about that. So the next time you hear some guy acting all cavalier, like, oh, yeah, I can win all the time from my investments, yada, yada, yada. No, sorry. This is the real world, ladies and gentlemen. That's not how it works. All right. It's not how it works. It was a great idea and actually a decent product, Cuban recalled during the podcast. However, he noted that the company's founder, Charles Yim, spent more time on lavish trips to Bora Bora and Vegas than on improving the product. Cuban even texts Yim, urging him to focus on the business, but Yim dismisses his networking. Ultimately, Cuban revealed, next thing you know, all the money's gone. Yep. Trouble in poor in 2017, FTC determined that the protocol readings were often inaccurate. This led to a settlement that required the company to issue refunds of devices sold between 20. Oh my, that's that's not good for that one. Cuban's lack of financial success on Shark Tank may surprise fans. Yeah. But for him, as I'm making money, I did 99.9% of it just because it teaches kids about the power. I agree. I love it. That's why I like this guy. He believes Shark Tank demonstrates that the American dream is still alive, inspiring people of all ages to take risk and start businesses. Take risk is the key phrase, and start businesses. That's right. And that's why you got 1 year, 6 months. You got plenty of time. Minimize your risk like you are a shark, and you go find a business that's already operating, that already has profits coming in. And in this way, you have a chance to be a big winner, right? Okay. I'm trying to get this off the screen. Why haven't I gotten that off the screen yet? Okay, there we go. All right. So Cuban's final season, he was on 14 seasons. After 14 seasons of the show, Shark Tank is ending. Oh, okay. Cuban said he is stepping away to spend more time with his family. Yeah, now they're teenagers. I just don't want to miss any more of the time. Cuban explained. Okay, that's understandable. Successfully retired. Reflecting. Dude wipes. A line of personal hygiene products has grown in over 100 million business and toilet paper categories. This opportunity with Spike Ball, significant popularity. Every time I see it, it just reminds me I missed out. Yeah, again, he was there. He had an opportunity, but that's what I love about the show. They actually had entrepreneurs. Imagine if you had the show. I was trying to set up a Shark Tank-esque type of environment online, but it never materialized because all these times, these products, these services, and all this, it was the same thing. All these guys come on, sounded good, looked good, everything was like a go, and then it turns into mush. We had an AI situation, mush. Had some crypto program, nodes programs, all of it crash. So with us, we had 4 or 5 things we did that turned crash, boom, no go. Uh, just like Mark Cuban, but we didn't do 17 times. We only did like 4 or 5. So we didn't get up to 10, 15, 20 because it was like everything was always like negative. I'm like Mark Cuban. I call uncle. Let's just go with the real deal stuff that the top 10% have their hands in. That's where we're staying. And we're going to stay in that ballpark. All right. High risk, high rewards. Go to biz, buy, sell, buy a business. Also, speaking of businesses, Steak and Shake, $10,000. You can be own a franchise, but you're going to have to obviously go through some hoops. I don't know what the contract says, but I know you're going to have to go through training, and I know you got to do something else to be there. I don't think it's a set it and forget it environment, but hey, they have it. 10 G's. You can get a Steak and Shake. I don't know how long it takes for you to actually own the franchise itself or whatever the deal is, but 10,000 gets you started instead of having to pay whatever. I don't know what they would charge if you wanted to buy in. All right. For small business owners, aspiring entrepreneurs, Cuban's experience offer valuable insights. While he has faced his share of failures, he remains optimistic about today's opportunities. But again, he's involved with something that they're trying to bring from mom and popish type of thing, or they might have been online selling it to another level. So another level would be, hey, I'm making $200,000 per year profit. Well, that's fine for, an individual in their business, but the sharks are trying to do this. We want to make $1 million, $2 million, $10 million a year. That scale is different, and you have to spend a lot of money. And that's where you lose. Their cost of acquisition starts climbing, and now you lose on the profit because you're spending it on the cost of acquisition. So the profit starts shrinking. And you get to a point where there's an intersection. And if it meets where you're spending money and the profits are almost the same, great. You made 2 million, but it cost you 1.5 to get to the 2 million number. And that's where the problems come in with the smaller companies because you're not scaled. Remember, I always talk about exponentials. Exponentials mean like what EV Place, Joe Nay, Brian P, Mr. Dividend, who's here tonight, Tamara, she's doing it as well. Exponentials is when you have more than one. So now I'm doing cost of acquisition for this business, but now I have another one of these same businesses, right? So that 1.5 on my example that I spent for cost of acquisition, now I have customers. Now my customers go, well, I now have customers and go, well, I have more than one. You can go to this one, and this one. Now those customers, some of them come back. My cost of acquisition can go down because I now have customers, but I still have to spend money on cost of acquisition. So now all of my stores start to make money, my profits go up. So that's why when it comes to real estate or a lot of things, real estate especially, I like exponentials. I like you having more than one because, and if you can diversify in different markets, different areas, same market, I don't really care. More than one gives you leverage because more than one also means in the real estate game, I might have a house here, a 2 bedroom here, condo, a studio condo here that caters to different people, but I'm still getting money from those locations separately and different customers. They're all coming, let's say, to Punakana. So the one thing's already done. Tourism's already coming. Now I just have to have my thing right, make my marketing, make my unit market itself. When people see pictures, they go, oh man, I want to stay there. When they see the amenities, oh man, that's included. Yeah, I want to stay there. How much are you charging me? And they go, you go $120 a night. Oh, yes. With all that amenities, that location, what I see here, yeah, I'm coming. That's the type of stuff that you do, but it's exponentials. And if somebody says, well, I only have, it's just me. So I don't need that 2 bedroom. You go, no worries. I got the studio unit over here, amenities here, same furnishings, top notch from Opine Furniture. We're good. Looks the same. What do you think? Oh yeah, that's beautiful. How much? $90 a night. Cool. Actually, me 109. Sorry, says I bought the condo for 99. Right, so it's 109 a night. But that's how it works. All right. Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for me. I just had to put that Mark Cuban in here and show you guys what I've been saying all these years about these starting and businesses and not being. You always have to think. Once you realize, you have to be humble. You have to realize if the best of the best can't make something happen, and it takes on average 17 times a failure on average before you win, then you put things in perspective. 5 losses ain't it. You shouldn't be stopping. That's why I keep going to this day. Because just now, if I can get in the oil business, because I got in the wine business, I want to be in the oil business. I always want to be. All that money rolling around up there, and I could never get there. And you know why? It's a closed circuit. I mean, how many black guys are involved in oil? Come on, let's get real. I mean, yeah, you might be out there on the rigs. You might be underneath doing some welding and stuff like that, making awesome money. But I'm like, how many people are actually into oil where you're involved with the actual oil companies and gas stations and all of that? I said, man, I said, don't even tease me like this. This is like child's play to me. In my head, I'm saying it's child's play to them. I'm not saying it. But all I see is what he described to me was child's play. And I'm sitting there like, oh no, you don't want me in this game. I'm going to do some crazy stuff in this game. Because what they explained is, like I said, I can use leverage. And they know about leverage, but they use leverage a different way. They're using leverage to say, I'm gonna, I have X amount of oil coming into here. It's valued at X. So they use that as a derivative. I'm sitting there using the whole thing as a derivative. I'm like, oil is X, land is X. Once you develop something and you deliver to that same location, this oil over here that's X, my exponential numbers is different than just one of each. I got a whole conglomerate over here. And then I got some other things going. I'm like, and the thing when I'm sitting there talking, he goes, yeah, if you know some land, had some land by some freeway, da da da. I was like, you guys know I did landauction.com. So I know where there's plenty of land that's by freeways that I was going to buy before that's commercial property, but I had no reason to because I'm like, I'm not doing a gas station. I'm not doing nothing I'm not getting a fast food restaurant. I'm not going to lease to anybody either. I wasn't into that because there was too much money to be made just by vacant land and flipping it within 7 to 10 days. Making 20, 30,000 in 7 to 10 days. I mean, come on. Why am I going to be interested in doing business when all I have to do is go to an auction, bid, go home, put it on eBay, put a 7 day auction, and by the eighth day, I have 15,000 for this one, 20,000 for another on something I bought for $3,000, 2,500, $3,500. Why am I going to go risk doing something crazy out in the street? That's crazy. So, but all of that turns into when this guy's talking to me, I'm sitting there like, oh my God, I know a whole bunch of spots that's probably to this day available. And I actually looked at one of them, and sure enough, it's not like it used to be. This one spot I was going to invest in had like 2 or 3 gas stations. Now it has 2 or 3 truck stops there and gas stations. So I don't know, there's probably like 8 or 9 in this spot that I know is right off the freeway off of Highway 10. Out in the middle of nowhere, quite frankly, or it still is out in the middle of nowhere. But the distance between the 2 major cities is about 180, no, 230 miles. So it's like right in the middle, almost. Not really middle, but 60 miles from one major city, 171, to another. And they had lots right off the freeway. I just looked. They still have something on the side of the freeway. Now I got to see if I can find them. I think I know. I think the guys still have them. They're hidden. I know these guys still have these lots. I know they do. So I'm going to go see if they got them. And I might get one. And then that starts the ball rolling. The land is the first thing you need to acquire. Remember what I told you guys. Land, if you're going to buy land, you need to buy it when housing market goes down. That's when the value of land goes down dramatically. So this is kind of like a good time because nobody's coming to do anything right now. It's too high of cost to go build something, the interest rate, if unless you had the cash. If you don't have the cash, how are you going to pay a 10 or 11% note for something that costs millions? And you got to build whatever you're going to build on there. So the leverage play is kind of still good, but not quite. But again, you land might be a good price right now because everything's sitting and it's hard to do a lot of things. In the next year and a half, you should be looking at land. It should be going down. But we're all you'll join the ride with me if I can pull it off. Just letting you guys know. All right. So Mark Cuban's story, I had to get over that, and I'm gonna let you guys go tonight. Um, let's see, what else did I miss? Tesla 802 right now. Set your limit orders. There we go. Don't let this thing go under 8. Holy smokes. Hold on a second. Let me go look at something. Let me see. I know that's under my dollar cost average now. Now I'm interested. Now I'm interested. Very, very interested. Come on now. Let's see. Let's see. How interested am I going to be? I think I am. I'm pretty sure I'm in the low 8. I'm pretty sure. Let's see. 801 right now. 801 overnight. Oh, yeah. Yeah. 819. Yep. Yep. It's time. It's time. Overnight, it's at 801 right now and dropping, and it's going to go down to under 7. I'm pretty sure under 8. I mean, yeah, this is good. This is very very good. I like it. That means we got to get some more. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to wrap this up. Thank you so much for being here. I love you guys. We making money in here. Oh, look at this, man. He's overnight doing. I just bought it 798. What the heck, man? Come on. I'm sitting over here, and you guys. Oh, it's down to 8 now. You must be contributing to the downside. Holy smokes. Oh yeah, it did just drop down there, man. Like a few minutes ago. Look at that. It was at 798 at 1110. Yeah, you're the one that's responsible for taking it under the 790.99 like a minute ago it came up. He wasn't lying, ladies and gentlemen, because now it's back up to 801. Somebody was buying at 7.98, 799, and then it popped to 801. Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right. I see how you are, man. I see how you are. I'm not mad at you at all. Congratulations. We making money in here. Exactly. And what was the dividend last month anyhow? What was it? June 13th. 40 cents a share. 40 uh 40.28. So it was a little bit more than 40 cents a share. So that's even better. Um wow. So wait, that would be 480. A little more. Just so everybody knows. My fault. My fault. Oh, that's funny. Okay, 40 times 12. If they can average that, which actually, as you can see there, it went up more than that, right? Oh, sorry. Point 0.4 times 12. Times 12 divided by, let's go 8, because I can't get down to 799. But let's say we get to 810 divided by 810. That's 59% if they were able to give that out. Now, if you're talking about that 70 cents, that means you had $1.10. That's crazy. That's very interesting. I don't know. I'm gonna have to break down the kick. I don't know how to break it down, but that would be over $5 if the 40 cents was the low and that would bounce between 40 and 70, and the average was $50 or 50 cents. That'd be $6. That would be 80% if that's an average. Sheesh. Wow. 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 76 month before. Yeah, exactly. And anytime there's a drop or a dip like it's dropping, then it's another ball game. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I love you guys very much. I'm going to run on this note. You got to get in the game. TSLY is a monthly payout, the second week of the month, every month. I started scheduling some of the payout dates, and also around that same time is I can't is who else is on here? I got to do some things. Let's see. Around that same time is Ybit, I think, and also PSEC, which is is down to 316. PSEC is Prospect Capital. It's down to $3.16, unfortunately. I'm way, way down on that, but we'll see what happens in the next month. Might have to offload because I don't like where I'm at. I mean, I'll make it back up, but we're not going to be positive. It don't look like. Let's see. Okay. All right. 316. It's not good. Way, way down. But at least we're reinvesting at the lower price point. So my price point is way higher. I can't find it right now. I was going to look for something here. Let's see. Where's the dividends at? I don't, what the heck's going on? It doesn't give me dividends. When's the next dividend? July 22nd? Cool. Mm. All right. Well, oh, there it is. Wow. At $3.16, their dividend yield is 20%. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Okay. Well, that means I got to buy some more TSLY and PSCC, even though that's taking me a hefty downside because my dollar cost average is like $1 or something more. That's not good. I'm pretty sure it's more. Let's see. Let me go look. It's in the fours. I think it's definitely in the. Oh no, it's in the threes. But sheesh, we're way down here at 316 now. That's 81 cents decline. That's 20. Yeah, that's like 20%. And we're not getting but 20% annually. So I have to buy at a lower price. I got to bring my dollar cost average down on that too. So I guess I have to go get some PSCC and TSLY. All right. That's just me. I'm hanging with the boys. Uh, I got to tell you guys one time in 2020, 2021, was it? During the pandemic, PSCC was at these similar type levels, even actually higher. It was at four something, and it was 17% return annually. So now it's lower than the pandemic price now, and it's 20% along with, well, ARR is not 20% anymore. It's like 17 percent. But if you can lock in a 20 percentile number and they do the debt, the cuts, the Federal Reserve cut, and that helps the real estate investment trust, right? Which is kind of like PSCC does. They're capital, but nonetheless, when you're not selling homes, that hurts PSCC. So when they reduce it, their rate goes up, but whoever invests now, long as there's nothing catastrophic in the next 60 days, whoever invests now, you get to earn your 20% every year from now on, which is pretty sweet. And the share price hopefully will go back up to something like 5 or 6, which would make it spectacular, right? Double your price point right now because it was at 6 before, 5 or 6 before. So think about that, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just giving this high risk, high rewards when you get 20%, 20.28% to be exact. If you buy at this price point at $3.16, TSLY, they give out once a month dividends from YieldMax ETFs. So again, thank you so much for being here. I love you guys very much for your support over all these. It's 6 years I've been on here. I signed up with regular old YouTube, and it was just a generic name. Then when I came on was 6 years ago. In June, happy anniversary. I just found out I got a notification when I logged in today. So it was at the end of June, which I never knew really. I thought it was the beginning of June, but it's in June. So happy anniversary June every year. So thank you. The raising the roof, the party's going off. I'll see you guys on Wednesday, I hope, at 8:50 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll get another great conversation going. And with all that said, please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. And I know it's hard out here. You have 1 year, 5 months to go, ladies and gentlemen. Get your credit in order. 775 is the goal. Pay down your debt. That's the goal. Things are going to explode afterwards, but you'll have a little leeway. I always give a little leeway. I always give you guys a runway. The runway is really 2 years. I'll just be fully transparent, but I try to make sure you get there early. So you're there ahead of the game in case something changes. You'll already be set. All right. And there's going to be a nice ride on the stock market once whatever's going on gets to be somewhat stable. the stock market's going to rise even more, and it's going to be a rocket ship. So, and if they do the tax cut, tax breaks, then it's going to be a rocket ship for sure. If they do the Federal Reserve, they cut their rates, then it starts a small rocket ship ride liftoff. I don't want them to do both. I only want the Federal Reserve to cut the rates. I don't want the tax cut, tax break bill, because a lot of people are going to not have health care, and Medicare is going to be on the table, and other things that are social services, safety nets for our citizens and human beings. I'm not down with hurting other human beings. I'm not down with that. Financially hurting other human beings. I'll hurt the bad guys, but I ain't going to hurt innocent people who's just trying to survive, trying to be here, trying to make it. I mean, that's just human beings. I mean, humans are supposed to be on the planet. They're animals too, but at least you could do is help. Imagine if you had it reversed, where you had 6 billion people on the planet trying to help everybody. So then nobody's starving, everybody has a roof over their head, and everybody's contributing to clean food, clean energies, making sure your food supply isn't tainted with Roundup and stuff like that. I mean, imagine if that was the effort. The oil, the water wasn't owned by billionaires. I mean, it's just sad. And all of it, nobody needs to starve on this planet. It's all there for everybody. But we don't live in that type of environment because humans have to rule over other humans. So, anyhow, ladies and gentlemen, be safe, because you never know what somebody's going through. They might have just got laid off last week and finding out that they don't have their health care coverage and got sick, right? I mean, or just got laid off today with some email saying, I'm sorry, your services are no longer needed, and we'll send you your severance package. You just never know what somebody's going through. Somebody's kid or wife or mother or father got kidnapped by ICE. You just never know what somebody's going through. And there's a lot of people that's going through a lot of things auxiliary wise. So just keep that in mind when you're moving about out here and driving around. I saw a horrific accident today. Car pieces were everywhere. 3 different cars at an intersection. I don't know what happened, but geez, it was bad. Wheels are off and everything. I mean, nothing's flipped over, but whatever happened, it was some high impact stuff. So, anyhow, just be safe out here, all right? And with all that said, no matter what happens, just make sure that you always keep your head up, keep moving, and I'm out.